Welcome to the news on the hour on Providence Television International. I am Ugbebo Ikekwa. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetukun, has warned officers of the Nigeria Police Force against the unlawful and prolonged detention of suspects. He emphasized that suspects must not be detained beyond legally stipulated periods and warned that any officer found culpable of such violations would face strict disciplinary measures. The IG noted that unlawful detentions erode public trust and confidence in the police, urging officers to conduct their duties with professionalism, integrity, and respect for human rights. Former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has criticized the ongoing political developments in Rivers State, describing them as an aberration and a violation of Nigeria's constitutional order. He condemned the disobedience of a Supreme Court ruling regarding the release of statutory allocations to an appointed sole administrator instead of a duly constituted legislative body. Peter Obi further stated that disregarding the judiciary's authority sets a dangerous precedent and undermines the rule of law. Renowned Nigerian playwright, activist, and Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka has strongly condemned the suspension of Rivers State Governor Simina Lai Fubara and the subsequent declaration of a state of emergency in the state. Professor Soyinka stated that the actions are a direct violation of the principles of federalism enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. He emphasized that the move undermines the autonomy of state governments and the very fabric of Nigeria's federal interests. The Nobel laureate called for a critical revision of Nigeria's constitution, specifically with limitations to the scope of the president's powers. Following the Dangote Petroleum Refinery's suspension of the sale of petroleum products in Naira, some filling stations have started stockpiling petrol to sell at a higher rate, projecting that the price of petrol will go up soon as a result of the federal government's failure to continue the sale of crude oil to Dangote Refinery in Naira. Last week, Dangote Refinery announced that it had temporarily halted the sale of petroleum products in Naira as the Naira for crude talks between it and the NNPCL failed. Before the suspension, the Naira for crude deal emboldened Dangote Refinery to lower prices of PMS repeatedly, forcing the NNPCL to do same. Super Eagles coach Eric Shelley has demanded maximum concentration from the Super Eagles players as they resumed training on Sunday in Uyo behind closed doors ahead of the next game in the 2026 World Cup qualifying series against Zimbabwe on Tuesday, 25th March 2025. After their 2-0 win over Rwanda last Friday, the team flew to Uyo directly from Kigali via a chartered flight and settled in for their first training session on Sunday. Coach Shelley has restricted the team's access to journalists and visitors in the team's camp, stressing that the team has to stay focused for the match against Zimbabwe. As today and Tuesday's fixtures for African teams to secure a spot at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, fans across the continent are eager to see which teams will rise to the occasion and edge closer to a coveted World Cup bet. Here are the fixtures for the qualifying matches. For 4 o'clock matches today, that is as regards the qualifiers, World Cup qualifiers, we have Central African Republic to meet Mali, Guinea-Bissau against Burkina Faso, Liberia is to meet Sao Tome and Principe, that is by 4. And then at 7 o'clock, Ivory Coast versus Gambia, Madagascar is going to meet Ghana, Ethiopia to meet Djibouti, and Tunisia versus Malawi. That match comes up by 9 o'clock. And then for tomorrow's matches, Tuesday, 25th March 2025, at 1 o'clock, Botswana will be meeting Somalia, and at 4 o'clock, Angola is to meet Cape Verde. At the same time, Benin Republic meets South Africa. And 4 o'clock, Nigeria versus Zimbabwe. At the same 4 o'clock time, Rwanda is to meet Lesotho. Uganda versus Guinea, Burundi, Seychelles, and Cameroon is to meet Libya. There are still matches going on. Still, by 7 o'clock tomorrow, Burundi versus Seychelles, Cameroon versus Libya. Egypt is to meet Sierra Leone, Sudan to meet South Sudan. Algeria will be playing against Mozambique. And Comoros is to meet Chad Republic, Mauritania to meet Democratic Republic of Congo. It will also be at 9 o'clock, Senegal versus Togo, and Morocco is to meet Tanzania. And now to the issue of priests being kidnapped, which has become quite alarming. The Archdiocese of Wole has called on Christian faithful and all men and women of goodwill to earnestly pray for the quick and safe release of a Catholic priest, Reverend Father John Ubaechu, who was kidnapped on Sunday 23rd March along Ejimekuru Road in Oguta local government area of Imo State. He was kidnapped on his way to the priest's annual retreat. Reverend Father Ubaechu is a parish priest of Holy Family Catholic Church, Izombe. In the past 2 years, over 50 priests have been kidnapped and killed in Nigeria, raising fears of priests becoming an endangered species. The Catholic Diocese of Auchi seminarian Andrew Peter, who was killed on March 13, 2025 by kidnappers, will be buried on Wednesday. The burial ceremony will take place on Wednesday, March 26, 2025 at the Priest Cemetery, Immaculate Conception Minor Cemetery, Agenebude, Edo State. The seminarian was kidnapped alongside Reverend Father Philip Ekweli on March 3rd by suspected headers at the St. Peter's Catholic Church in Ivukwa Community, Esako East Local Government Area. Reverend Father Ekweli was, however, released. However, seminarian Andrew Peter did not survive the ordeal. May his soul rest in peace. And now to the exchange rates. $1 presently stands at 1,566 naira, €1 1,691, and £1 pound is equivalent in naira is 2,024 naira, and the Canadian dollar presently stands at 1,094 naira. And that's the news on the hour on Providence Television International. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.